Welcome to Sportex, where we talk all things relating to the ever-evolving business of sport and the people that make things happen in this vibrant industry. I'm Gerrit Davids, founder of TalkX TV, where we host SportX as a content channel. Also, welcome to our Women's Month series, focusing on the role and contribution made by women in the sector. I'm joined by Tasha Mentasti, World Surf League, WSL, and Regional Director for Africa. Let's start off by describing to us what is it that you do in the sport business industry, and more in particular in your role as Regional Director for Africa for the World Surf League. Welcome, Tasha.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here. It's an incredible opportunity to talk about a sport that might not be so well known within the South African sporting industry, but definitely a dynamic and exciting sport that's growing on the African continent. So my name is Tasha Mentasti, and I'm actually a surfer of over 3 decades and come through the sport and through the National Federation's development program over the years. And as a woman who's been marginalized fairly within a very male-dominated sport. However, with support from the National Federation, with clear pathways, I've been able to, over time, and putting a lot of time into the sport, both as an athlete and now as an administrator, I'm able to hold a really important position within the sport of surfing as regional director for WSL Africa. So who is the World Surf League? We are the professional league of the sport of surfing globally. And my responsibility is to look after the Africa region, which is the entire African continent, whereby we facilitate and host professional surfing events through various African surfing nations. And the priority in my world at the moment is to actually grow and help develop the sport. So working with national federations as well to be able to help with skill development. So it's an exciting opportunity, and it's a very exciting time for the sport of surfing, especially with the Olympics that just took place.
No, great. And how's the development programs coming along? And could you share a bit of it with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So Africa is the hidden gem, I say, within the surfing world and the surfing communities around the world. We have so much raw natural talent that just needs to get supported and have quality pathways and facilitation, as well as skill development and education courses. So I'm quite involved with surfing. Yes, I work with the World Surf League and host and put on professional surfing events. But part of our business model is to partner with national federations, whereby we can help facilitate and support skill development through judging and officiating, as well as through surf instruction, which is the coaching pathway. So WSL Africa allows certain positions within events, as well as opportunities to be participating in selected skill development activations and courses, whereby we're going to help facilitate that federation's development. So very much on the ground, very much connecting with communities, coastal communities, as well as local surfing districts, and playing an important part in helping the development of the sport on the African continent. So it really is a fulfilling job, and I'm really grateful for being able to play a part in the sport.
Yeah. And from a business perspective, what are the typical daily challenges thrown at Tasha within a role?
So it can go twofold. You can look at it from a professional point of view and with competition, whereby the biggest challenges are actually the athletes being unable to financially secure air tickets, accommodation, entries, etc., for these professional surfing events. WSL Africa does have a policy whereby we work with the local federations and districts and waive entry fees into these professional events. However, there is more needed, and what is needed is actually financial support and investment within federations as well as with athletes that have been highlighted and recognized through their talent ID programs. I think some of the other challenges from a business point of view is the lack of enough skill development activations taking place within these African surfing nations. I do believe we're going to be seeing a positive change in this regard because of the Olympics, and just that the sport of surfing is starting to have a more global awareness around it. So yeah, there's definitely challenges, but I think that with quality support and financial investment, it will alleviate some of the biggest speed bumps that athletes, surfers, federations are experiencing within the sport.
Yeah, and seeing that in South Africa for the month of August, we've dedicated to Women's Month. What's your view on how more women could be upskilled to enter the sports business industry, and particularly your sector from an administrative or an executive point of view?
Yeah, thank you, Gerrit. It's a great question. And you know, to celebrate Women's Month in South Africa, it's very uplifting because you start hearing the stories of these incredible women that have been resilient and have put the time in and have, you know, sacrificed a lot to be able to move on up within the sport and make a career out of it. I must be honest, in the sport of surfing in South Africa, we actually have a few females that are actively involved in senior management roles as well as executive roles. We've been seeing this over the last 5 to 8 years, and that is because of some incredible male counterparts and colleagues that want to see equality, but also recognize our skills and expertise and create opportunity. So yeah, I've been very supported within the sport, especially over the last 10 years. And it is thanks to some incredible male counterparts that, you know, just want to share the passion of surfing. We share the same vision and wanting to work together to create more opportunities and to grow the sport.
And talking about senior management, I know there's different layers of management, whether it's in business or in sports organizations. And I want to talk about, you know, this idea, the notion of volunteerism, you know, for people to come and gain experience, because, you know, South Africa as a country is also very much big into skills development.
Yeah. So from the amateur body, the National Federation, there is a lot more volunteerism that happens because it is such a small sport. So also being a minority sport, which is something that I want to see change. I believe that the ocean is a place that can teach you life skills. It's a place of healing. It's a place of challenges as well, but it's definitely a place of freedom, and it's free to be in the ocean. So you know, just with regards to the volunteerism, I think within the National Federation, there is a lot of time that's given freely to be able to help support the sport in whatever way and role that they serve. From a World Surf League point of view, we are not a federation. We are a private business, so that we do have very structured roles as well as payments for whoever serves a certain purpose within the business. But you know, with any sport, there's nothing wrong with putting in hours to be able to put back into something that's given you so much. I do think that there definitely needs to be accountability within a sport, and that accountability comes from paying people and making sure that there's very clear guidelines, as well as responsibilities due for that role or service that a person provides. And yeah, I think as the sport grows, so will the volunteerism diminish. and more at a top level. I still believe that, with these local surfing districts, to give a day over a weekend, like a Saturday or Sunday of your time, to be a part of surf outreach programs and learn to surf initiatives. I don't see that as something that's wrong. It's also really fulfilling as well. But once we start working up in higher management and higher roles, whereby there's a lot of decisions that need to be made, I definitely believe that this should be a person who's accountable based on the time that they put in and what they are getting paid for their services that they provide.
Yeah, and talking about women's sports starting to escalate to a level which is a bit reasonable in terms of recognition as we speak. We're not there yet, but what would be the kind of career opportunities? I mean, considering yourself in a role of being an executive for World Surf League, what would be the kind of career opportunities be for people looking to get not only into surfing, but also sport in general?
I think that just the way the world is evolving and technology, I think broadcast is a very important part of sports nowadays. Creating content, so either as the media team or communications team is really important. And especially from an African context, to share stories, you need people with expertise who are able to put those stories together in a package that's going to be able to be understood and have some awareness created around it. So there's a lot of opportunity within sports. From a competitive point of view as well, we've got equal prize money within the sport of surfing. We were one of the first sports to offer equal prize money at a professional level. We've also got some incredible women in senior leadership, whereby they are driving and leading big communication teams and broadcast teams within the World Surf League. So we're seeing those opportunities already. It's now needing to filter down to nations, whereby we will see countries having more female representation within the sport. Like I said before, I've been very supported thanks to Surfing South Africa, the national federation, over the last few decades. And I was the first woman to sit on the board of directors for Surfing South Africa in 2006. I was the first woman to be selected as head coach for a national surfing team. And I think that I need to use my voice to showcase to other women that with that commitment and that determination and that belief in yourself, you will be able to achieve and see your goals and dreams realized. But it does come with having a shared vision with our male colleagues. And I just think there's lots of opportunity within sport, not just in South Africa, but globally for women. And I believe that you need to follow your dreams, commit to it. There's definitely going to be some sacrifices, but it is worth it in the long term. And I wouldn't want to be doing anything else than what I'm doing right now. So I'm very grateful.
Yeah, and speaking to quite a bit of people in similar roles to yourself, I find that their initial education and qualification is so totally different to what they do today, but yet that very same qualification prepared them for what they did today in hindsight.
Yeah, correct. Very correct. Look, I must be honest. I have committed to being a professional athlete for a long time, and there was quite a natural evolution and quite organic transition to move from being an athlete into an administrative point of position. But I do believe that what I learned before, like even just managing myself as an athlete and with sponsors and travel and logistics, I was already learning skills that I possibly could have learned through a tertiary education system. But I unfortunately wasn't able to study. I committed myself to the sport back then. But there are many people in roles within surfing who are now serving a very important purpose within the sport, but their background is very different. So, I think that we are always prepared. We never throw in anything that we can't handle. And I think that we need to be able to adapt, because if we don't adapt, we die pretty much. We've got to evolve and we've got to learn. And when we stop learning, that's when there's a problem, So there's opportunity everywhere.
No, great. Looking back at your own career path to date, what is the single piece of advice that you would give any young woman who wants to enter the world of sports business per se?
So my advice to any woman out there who holds this dream to have a space within a sporting environment is to know that, number one, you do deserve to be there and you do have a space at the table. Number two, you need to be resilient and understand that there are going to be challenges, but those challenges don't need to be a hindrance. You can see that as something that actually grows you and builds you to be stronger. And yeah, just never give up. Believe in yourself and just stay committed, because sport is great. And as we know, with Nelson Mandela's incredible quote, sports can have such a massive influence on all of our lives, and to be able to serve a role within a sporting code, I believe, is something that's really important. And I wish all these ladies all the best.
No, great. And looking back over your career, did you have mentors, and how do you value their importance in your career per se?
Yeah, what a great question. Because I've definitely had people around me who have supported me, guided me, and been incredible mentors over the years. Not just surf specific people within the surf community, but also people that just were willing to invest their time into me. And I think that mentorship is important. I feel that I'm at an age now where I am willing to give my time to help mentor and guide young women who are already involved in the sport. The bug has bitten. They're involved with surfing, and there's some incredible women of color who just deserve a safe and supportive space where they can learn and also feel that they can fail as well, and not be segregated for that, rather to be supported and to help guide them through to the next step. So yeah, mentorship is incredibly important.
Yeah. So, what are the biggest trends that you see on the horizon within your sport in particular, especially in relation to artificial intelligence, AI, augmented and immersive technologies, blockchain, app development, and sports tech and the like that could assist with the increased levels of proficiency within sports administration to help us, so to say, to be better.
So I do believe that everything that you've mentioned now is going to have an impact on the sport. Maybe not necessarily the competitive or professional side of it. I think also through something that is not on everyone's radar, but with hosting professional surfing events in different countries, you're bringing in tourism. And tourism is very important with most coastal countries. So there's a big trend with surf tourism. What does that mean? There's so many facets to it. It comes down to offering an experience to learn to surf, which is part of being on the coast and having time on the coast. Within that, there now is massive safety regulations and risk mitigation. So there needs to be systems in place from a technology point of view, whereby it can be monitored and there's a much clearer process. From an administrative point of view, it is very important, even with the AI technology that's coming out, to be able to understand the community, understand your fans, understand the database that you have and the local communities that you service. So I think technology is going to play an important role within the sport. As much as we are very nature focused and outdoor focused, we are already utilizing a lot of technology to facilitate a more streamlined event, and especially from a broadcast and media point of view as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. That was Tasha Mentasti, a World Surf League WSL, and Regional Director for Africa. Thank you for your time and insights, which is very much appreciated. That is where we would leave it for now. And thank you for watching What I Do in Sport on the SportX channel, which is hosted on TalkX TV. Until next time.